Hello, hello, and welcome to ohmTown Daily, the news show powered by ohmTown.com. Today we're going to be talking about Doggy, Coffee Spike, Turkish Ghost Town, Disney Banhammer, Dyson's mobile AR app, which we've seen in a different form, Computer Addicts of 1983, Intermittent feature traps Tesla owner, Lionfish in the Caribbean, May the Space Force be with you, and Star Trek Strange New Worlds, yes. Lower Decks, no. That and more. Hi. I'm Mayor Watt, and up there and down there and around me is the visualizer for the sentient AI from the future. And if you thought that I was missing when the show came back from the transition, you're right.
Where did you go? Good evening, ohmTown citizens.
I was off winning an award, if you must know. That award was, there's something that I control the show with that was out of reach, and I had to go and fix it.
It might be important.
Anyway, so as you know, or if you don't know, all of the shows are powered by ohmTown.com. We aggregate news from around the world, little snippets. We throw the headline into a flow, a constant stream of headlines that are aggregated. And you can actually go back in time all the way back to 2020, January 1st, 2020, when I made the show go live 3 years ago. Actually, we started right here in 2022. And so I wanted to have a couple of years of history in the show. I've been using ohmTown.com for a decade now, but only for my own personal use. And then I showed it to some people and they said, hey, this is really neat. And so I opened it up, and we've been slowly growing. I don't do any advertising except for the videos over on YouTube. That's where I promote the show, but I really rely on listeners like you to go over and like the videos and share it with a friend, tell them to download the podcast, leave a review there. We really need to be discovered by various people, and discoverability relies mainly on the people who stumble across ohmTown's various shows. We have quite a few now. So they're all similar to this, more focused on the weekends. Each individual show is more focused than ohmTown Daily News Show, which is all of the articles. We review all 6 main categories and 50 channels that I intend to bring here to Twitch and over to YouTube and to podcasts. So let's get into it. The very first article is in Technology Today. It's another show, and that's one that's on the weekend. So be sure to follow us here on twitch.tv to be told when that one is going to start up. We start tomorrow at 5 with the ohmTown Daily News Show. And then every hour after that, we have another show for 5 hours. So that said, engineers in Oregon train dog robot to walk on moon. I believe we had a preliminary article about this, and then this one came on board, so we decided to highlight it. The engineering team has a 2-year...
Ohio State.
But I think it's Oregon. So the engineering team at the Oregon something, I don't know where it is, but anyway, the engineering team has a 2-year, $2 million grant to help NASA study the moon's surface. I suppose that they're going to be teaching it to walk on regolith, which is what the moon has. Its soil is regolith with it, which is actually more crystalline than rock. It's really sharp and abrasive. So engineers in Oregon train a robot to walk on the moon. The multidisciplinary team has a $2 million grant for 2 years, so $1 million a year, to help NASA study the asteroid surface. It's called Lassie, but whenever I say this, I always feel weird. Legged Autonomous Surface Science in Analog Environments project. They had to work really hard to make that happen. Now the project is formed by professionals from NASA, Texas A&M University, the Texas A&M University, the Georgia Institute of Technology,
I didn't know how many you were gonna do.
Oh, I'll lean into it. Okay. The Oregon State University, the Temple University, and the only one that actually has the University of Pennsylvania.
That should be the.
There you go. That's right. The University of Pennsylvania. They all work together to test out this little dog bot. It's not so little. I mean, the perspective looks pretty chunky. There is a 1-minute video. I'm not going to play it. I'm just going to have y'all. You know what? That's not true. I'll play it. I'm a big liar. Why does that look really small there? But the perspective of it, oh, it's really small.
Oh yeah, it was deceptive in the original view of it.
This thing looks like a toddler. First time at the beach. Just kind of slowly tiptoeing in. But apparently... yeah, that soil actually looks really close to regolith, right? Oh, it looks so sleepy. It's cute.
It's moving pretty quickly.
It's like kicking up dirt.
It reminds me of a crab or something.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It reminds me of a pitcher that's been struck out, but called out, right? Not by obvious strikes, but called out. And then they're all mad and they're like kicking dirt at the yeah, bastard. Because it's just kicking up a little bit of dirt every time it takes a step. Kick, 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 kick. All right, let's keep going. Oh, before I do that, I always throw these articles into the chat, but sometimes I don't. So here we go. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Prices for coffee are spiking, and this is not allowed. Vietnam and Brazil's crop issues, not cop issues, but crop issues, drive coffee prices to new highs, potentially impacting U.S. import costs and consumer prices. And basically, where a business can extract more money from the customer base, it's going to. And so I'm not even going to assume that this is not going to traverse into the U.S. They'll find an excuse to reach into your pocket, and they being corporations. The bigger the corporation, the more handsy they are with your wallet. Alexander Fabino. Wait, did I say who the other one was from?
I'm not sure.
I don't even see a thing. Like a who and a what. Oh well. So the coffee article is by Alexander Fabino over at newsweek.com, and it says as global coffee markets tense up, prices are surging, driven by fears of decreased output from Brazil and Vietnam, which are major producers in the coffee industry, amid a brewing storm of supply challenges. And I keep getting into these conversations. People are saying supply chain this, supply chain that. I thought it's all been solved. The pandemic is over, right? Everybody's back to work.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Something's not right. Amid a brewing storm of supply challenges, the price of coffee has spiked to new heights as concerns over a dry season in Vietnam threatening Robusta yields, combined with erratic weather in Brazil affecting Arabica crops, have prompted a sharp rise in coffee futures.
Do you think this is finally the thing that's going to get people to wake up to climate change?
We're probably closer to World War III than we are accepting climate change.
I just meant like somebody's like, I don't have my coffee, or I'm spending double on my coffee, or whatever.
Oh no, I mean, if they don't have their coffee, then they're leaving bolts out of the air frame panels. So get everybody their damn coffee. See, the problem for me, I'm willing to bet that there is a very constrained flow supply chain. So when one business decides to, I don't know, not supply, And I'm not talking about the suppliers that are in these countries. I'm talking about the businesses that go and make the deals with those suppliers. Those intermediate people are sitting there going, you know what? We're going to jack the price up because we know that, whoever they are, have money and they'll charge more and we'll get our money more and they'll get their money more and everybody who drinks coffee will get less. And then there's going to be some dipshit out there that's going to sit there and go, well, drink less coffee. Yeah, because that's how things become cheaper. No, it's called
Right.
supply and demand. And they're in charge of the supply. Look at the supply. Not only is the environment getting screwed over because of anthropomorphic climate change, but then you have anthropomorphic greed. It's not like the planet's greedy. You have greed that sits there and says, well, we can't have our margins decrease to absorb some of this. No, we have to jack the prices up so that we keep our margin at above 15%. And we're talking about profit margin. We're not talking about, gross. We're not talking about pre-salary costs. We're talking about everything. Everything is in, at the bottom line, right? Profit. Because greedy bastards. Anyway, so the U.S. As the U.S., a major coffee importer, braces for impact, the ripples affect the supply fluctuations could affect everything from the cost of a morning brew to the financial markets. The surge in prices comes at a time when global inventories are low and speculative trading is on the rise, and therein lies the freaking problem. Speculation is now so far ahead that they're jacking up the prices because they know that the environment is already screwed, so they're going to start raising the prices and they're going to start trading at a higher level. According to Vietnam Coffee Cocoa Association, or VCCO, report issued on Tuesday, further fueling market volatility. So future prices for Robusta coffee, the bean used primarily in instant coffee and espresso, reached an all-time high this week due to ongoing supply shortage in Vietnam, the VCCO said. But it's kind of like oil. I'm pretty sure that they could produce more and they could supply more, but if you constrain it, then you can raise the price.
Right, but then also is it suffering from some of the same issues that we've seen with other industries?
Yeah.
Such as olives and other issues?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like wildfires and all that.
Well, there's like flooding in one area, drought in another area. But in both of those cases, there's still the issue with the cost being raised and constrained, even though that there's probably enough that could actually be released. So they say Vietnam predicts a 20% drop in output in the current crop year, which will likely affect exports in the remaining months of the crop year, except as we've seen in other countries like tomatoes in India, one half of the year there was a drought, so everybody was really screwed, but then it flourished and they dumped about onto the roads to keep the prices higher. So tell me that we're not just a product of manipulation. So there are alternatives to coffee out there, by the way. They're not necessarily the greatest in the world, but you can adapt. I don't know. So in Brazil, where Arabica exists, the bean used primarily for house blends and specialty coffee is predominant. Prices have also been under pressure. Arabica coffee futures saw an upswing this month, partially due to unusual weather patterns across Brazil. We've known about this. So 30%, Minas Gerais, specifically in Minas Gerais, which accounts for about 30% of Brazil's Arabica production. There's an excessive rainfall of 75.4 millimeters, over 3 times the historical average. But what you're going to find out is they're going to flourish in the coming months and years because now there is an abundance of moisture in the soil and it's not so poor, right? The soil isn't so poor and it's getting enough water, it's getting enough nutrient, etc. So I'm sure that there might be some that are damaged, but on the other side of this. But we'll see, right? So an estimated $1.35 billion worth of coffee came from Brazil, while $365.75 million worth of coffee husks, and substitutes came from Vietnam, despite the challenging growing conditions reported in the region. So quite a bit comes from Brazil.
Well, and this is one of these where like too much of the supply possibly is in a certain area.
Yeah. It's too much is concentrated in one place. But hey, it's really expensive and time consuming to grow coffee. Coffee beans. And it's pretty laborious work too. So let's keep going though. This next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Inside a $200 million, and I'm just going to do this one really fast, a $200 million ghost town in Turkey filled with castles reminiscent of Disneyland minus all the people. The Burj Al Babas is an abandoned ghost town in Turkey filled with Disneyland-like castles. Construction of the luxury community began in 2014 and cost $200 million. When Turkey's economy fell, the project halted. Today, 587 castles remain empty. So the town of castles is called Burj Al Babas in northwest Turkey. It was supposed to draw foreign vacationers, but the tone of Turkey changed.
That's true. You know, they weren't exactly welcoming, I don't think.
Right. So Monica Humphreys and Araya Bendix put the article together. I've actually seen some of these photos I've actually seen before. I thought they were pretty amazing. For all intents, as far as I know, there were like quality control issues and stuff like that as well. But it's basically like this pre-planned community. So let's see. I want to see something. Hold on a second. Sorry, I'm doing something live.
I hope there are some detailed pictures of this.
Yeah, I'll just go through this. So after more than 500 were built and $200 million was invested in the property, Turkey's economy fell, and so did Burj Al Babas. Today, 587 villas sit empty, forming a ghost town. There's a place called Yes Theory that reported out on it, but I've actually heard of this back in like 2014. It's quite large, but nobody's messing with it, right?
Does it remind you of the Malaysian?
Yeah.
Oh, I do remember. I think we did feature something about this in the past.
Early. Yeah, back in like 2022, I think. So it says it looks like Disneyland, you know, these little castles. But
they're pretty neat, but it's weird that there's so many of them.
And they're all the same cookie cutter, just chunk, 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 chunk.
Right, like if they made a bunch of different models of that, it might be neat. But
I mean, they are identical. 500 of them.
It's odd. Because if you're going to have like a picture of your house or something, you're going to see a bunch of castles around your castle.
Yeah, it's just really, it's kind of surreal. I mean, why they would do it so cookie cutter. Like here in the States, they change the what do they call it? The
elevation.
Yeah, they change the elevation, and they actually have a planned set of elevations. So like two houses can't have the same elevation next to each other. But these are absolutely identical. You could easily mistake one house for another. And you're like, hey, that's not my wife. So
okay,
pretty
that would
amazing.
Be awkward. When did we get a pet?
They say, yeah, really. Wait, why is that dog biting me? They also picked a strategic location. Mudurnu is a Roman spa town, according to Condé Nast Traveler. So the region's nearby hot springs would fill hot tubs in every home and provide warmth for underfloor heating. It's identical to the Roman Empire. and it collapsed like the Roman Empire. So the original plan included 700 buildings that the group hoped would attract foreign buyers, but it's more than the economics of Turkey. The climate in Turkey changed fundamentally, and that is the key choice of word there. So it's not necessarily friendly to all people. So it says the homes were sold for $370,000 to $500,000 each, depending on the location, a price tag that catered to a wealthier Middle Eastern clientele, according to the Times. Look at that, just one after the other. It's amazing.
It's so odd. I don't think there's anything else like it.
Yeah. I don't know. One of them all by themselves would be spectacular, but 700 of them it's like gluttony, you know? The project was initially successful. Of the 732 planned villas, about 350 were sold to customers in Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait, the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia. I thought that it said Western, but hold on. I thought they said that they draw foreign vacationers. I guess foreign to Turkey means anybody. So, okay. I don't know. When
anybody
I think
outside of Turkey, I guess.
Yeah, when I think foreign from Turkey, I don't think right over there, like you can throw a stone and hit the border. Anyway, interesting though, right? And there's a lot more pictures over there, and there's references to other links. Let's keep going though.
I wonder if they're going to allow people to like remove the buildings.
Oh,
like
God.
They were doing somewhere else. I forgot where that was.
Pick it up and
that
move
was
them.
in Nantucket.
Yeah. In Nantucket, we did an article, or we reported about an article from another website, and I can't remember where it was from, but people, really wealthy people, are giving away homes on Nantucket, but you have to pay to move the home. So you can have the home, but not the land. Because it's cheaper for you to move it, or easier for them to have you move your house, get the house for free.
It was on Business Insider.
Oh, I'm not surprised. Yeah. All right, let's keep going though. This next article, and I thought that one was going to be a quick one, but the next article is over in Hatch Ideas, Disney World, Disneyland. And I would assume any Disney property is going to now permanently ban guests who tell this lie to skip lines. This is an article that was aggregated from Entrepreneur, but it says the company rolled out changes to its disability access services earlier this week. So Emily Rella over at entrepreneur.com put the article together. Essentially what's going on are people, and primarily content creators, are saying that they are disabled and they're getting fast passes, the equivalent of fast passes. I can't remember what they're called now.
That's pretty despicable.
They're called Genie Plus passes, to skip lines, and not just designated lines. It skips any standing line, because they're trying to provide these Genie passes, Genie Plus passes specifically, to people who have family members, friends or associates that can't stand in lines. They reference autism and others, but ultimately, apparently, because you can't have nice things without somebody abusing it, a plurality of scumbaggery takes place, and people pretend they make the claim, but then it's not necessarily true. So they say, if it is determined that any of the statements a guest made in the process of obtaining a DAS are not true, the guest will be permanently barred from entering the Walt Disney World Resort and the Disneyland Resort, according to Disney's website, which now reads, any previously purchased annual passes, Magic Key passes, tickets, and other park products and services will be forfeited and not refunded, which that's probably going to land in a lawsuit. But
right, I think that part's not going to go over too well, but I welcome the ban.
Yeah, I do too. If you are not, don't claim it. Because in a nutshell, you're kind of a scumbag. So let's just hurry up and get through this one. I'm going to move on. This next article is quite interesting because I believe we reported on the source of this software. Maybe you remember a virtual reality app, augmented reality app that allowed you to see where you vacuumed.
Yes.
Well, apparently Dyson's new AR mobile app shows you where you forgot to clean. Dyson's Clean Trace is an upcoming feature for the My Dyson mobile app that uses AR to track your vacuum and show you exactly where you've already cleaned. Now, if this isn't taken straight from, I thought it was a student that put that together, by the way, for AR pass-through on their VR headset. But I don't know. I don't have I didn't do any search. So the article is over at Digital Trends. I know that we did a show about it though. Apparently you can click your phone into a little holder, attach that to your Dyson, and it will track just like that other person's AR augmentation for vacuuming, for cleaning. So the article is over at digitaltrends.com by John Bittner. And it says using the Dyson Clean Trace is simple, though it comes with pretty strict limitations. For one, it only works with the expensive Dyson Gen 5 Detect cordless vacuum. It also requires a smartphone with a LiDAR scanner like the iPhone 15. There's others. And a special clamp to attach your phone to the vacuum, which has yet to receive a price tag. With all that out of the way, then you'll be able to launch the My Dyson app and access the Clean Trace feature. Did you find it?
I feel like I did, but I don't know if I can't find the exact article. I don't know if it's Chores 2.0. It might be.
It's not.
Okay.
Oh,
but
wait, no.
something.
That might actually be it.
But I can't find the source article that I need. But anyway.
Yeah. So this is pretty neat, but I swear it's the same app. I'm sure that they came up with their own thing instead of paying this person. Maybe they did. I don't know. It doesn't. I don't have a dog in this hunt.
It's just neat that we discussed it, and then here it is.
Yeah, but for sure, we actually talked about this in another episode. Just not the Dyson. It was a homebrew thing, so somebody could see if they could use augmented reality to track where they vacuum.
So there was a Reddit thing in 2021, but for 2024, all I could find is Chores 2.0.
Yeah, it might have been. Okay, so let's keep going though. Today. The next article is over in Warcrafters Meet the Computer Addicts. Quote, with this BBC report from 1983 that makes the authors over at PC Gamer, the authors' PC habits look pretty dire by comparison. I'm just going to jump straight on over to the source. So the source is over at pcgamer.com. Andy Edser, E-D-S-E-R, put the article together. The deck statement, actually, let me grab the title here and throw it into the chat. Sorry about that. So Andy Edser is the author of this. The deck statement says, "I told you this computer thing was no good. Back to books, the lot of you." Oh god, wow, this is such an old computer. So back in the days of the author's youth, by which they mean 1983, literally 4 years before they were born, BBC's stop. I'm just going to leave that alone. BBC's Newsnight released a short report detailing the habits of a new type of person entirely when it was classified as computer addicts. Really? Kiss my butt. So these were the beginnings of home computing, a time when something like the Commodore was just starting to become viable as a home computing platform that ordinary people, or in this case, unnecessarily demonized nerds of the finest quality, might keep in their spare room. And then they say, and now thanks to the BBC archives, you too can revel in their glory via digital trends. So they found their article via digital trends. Interesting. And then they wrote a little bit of stuff about it. This video has nothing to do with it. That's an ad. So there is a YouTube video that is actually part of BBC Archive, and it's called Meet the Computer Addicts from Newsnight. Chris Carter, then operations manager in the computer department of the Borough, I think, Council office, is shown not only using his computer at work, doing useful things for the benefit of society, but also enjoying one in his free time as well. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I don't know. Should I play a little bit of it?
Yes.
Yeah.
The answer is always yes to playing one of the videos.
So it looks like 1970s video, early 80s video for sure. Oh man, that's a big old computer with a tiny little monitor and a big old TV screen next to it. Look at that. Wow. And that is a Commodore. Wow. Yeah.
That looks like it's in the Wayback Machine.
It is. Like everything is in a Wayback Machine. See, oh, he's playing video games at the bar. So yeah, if there was anybody that would be classified as a nerd back then, it would be this guy right here. So Chris said that he put 20 to 40 hours a week behind the keyboard, and as a result, his partner says she hardly sees him. So the author of this article says those are rookie numbers, Chris. Rookie numbers. Yeah, 20 to 40 hours. The thing about it is, nowadays, that 20 to 40 hours is all the time that you would put at work, right? So you're doing everything. This person did 20 to 40 hours, but probably did a fraction of the amount of work that somebody today does. And so instead of getting paid more because you do so much more, you get paid less because the tools have evolved. So we're almost getting punished by the evolution of technology, just creating more work. Yeah, 40 hours of productivity today is not the 40 hours of productivity 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
No, I'd say that's like 4 hours today.
Yeah. So let's, you know what? Let's just keep on going. They talk about Civilization 6 and stuff like that, which is, it's a modern game. It's not from 83. So they say, all joking aside, this is a fascinating look into the mindset of a generation just coming to terms with the idea that a computer might not just be a useful machine, but something that can become life-absorbing, useful, and rewarding too. Yeah, and the things we do with computers today is astonishing compared to what was done with a Commodore 64 or this thing. Talk about getting the Wayback Machine. Wow. Let's see. Oh, no, I can't. I can't say anything without doxing myself, really. This next article, though, is over in the Mobile channel, and it's titled Tesla Software Update Traps TikToker Inside 115-Degree Car. I'm really curious about this. I chose it completely off of that title because the snippet just says this originally appeared in Jalopnik, but it's actually aggregated from the parent site Gizmodo.com. I think, right? Yeah. Like Gizmodo is part of a network of other, and Jalopnik is one of them. So anyway, over at Gizmodo.com, Logan Carter put this article together, and the deck statement says Tesla warns owners that opening their doors or windows while installing a software update could damage the vehicle, so she stayed put.
Oh no.
So a TikToker got locked inside of her Tesla Model 3 for 40 minutes in the hot sun while it was installing a software update, and as of this writing, her video has over 10.7 million plays after a single day of being online. So before you go jumping to conclusions about her ineptitude, Brianna Janelle was actually following the rules laid out by Tesla, i.e., Vehicle functions, including some safety systems and opening or closing the doors or windows, may be limited or disabled when installation is in progress. You could damage the vehicle. Janelle chose to heed Tesla's warning and did not attempt to open her doors or windows during the installation process for fear of damaging her vehicle. So
I'd be more concerned about damaging myself.
Yeah. So did this happen? They had to have activated the update because it wouldn't have been over the air updating if it can disable functions.
Well, we assume so.
Yeah, interesting. Lucid Motors actually requires occupants to exit the vehicle before the installation process begins, and the Lucid Air Owner's Manual states that owners will not be able to lock or unlock the doors during an update, which is similar to what this is doing. I'm surprised. Why?
That seems like a significant safety issue.
Tesla Owner's Manual states that the car will not initiate a software update if Keep Climate Mode, Dog Mode, Sentry Mode, or Camp Mode are engaged, but it fails to require vehicle occupants to exit the vehicle before the debilitating installation process begins. Jeez, if an emergency took place. The estimated install would only take 24 minutes, but it actually took 40, so they were stuck in their car in 115 degrees for upwards of 40 minutes. And in a follow-up video, her caption states that she was afraid to mess with her car by getting out during the installation, and she claims to have owned a Tesla for 6 years and said she'll continue to own her car for many years. Okay. Yeah. Fascinating. Just another reason not to buy a Tesla. Did you want to say anything
EV or EV before we're ready for it, and they've worked out all the kinks.
Yeah, this is definitely... Well, I mean, I guess you're never going to find all of the kinks unless you crack a few eggs, right? I just don't want to be one of the eggs.
Right.
The next article is over in ohmTown Daily. Lionfish have invaded the Caribbean. Can we spear and eat enough of them? Are these the same lionfish that are in the Great Lakes?
Those are zebrafish.
Zebrafish, thanks. Okay. Wait. Okay, so hold on a second. In the span of a few years, lionfish spread from the coast of the U.S. to the Bahamas and through the Caribbean. The invasive species is devastating ecosystems, eating everything in its path. Now divers in places like Colombia are spearing as many lionfish as they can, and chefs are finding ways to add these venomous creatures to their menus, but will it be enough to curb the population? No. They don't look very attractive. I mean, they look cool, but they don't look edible.
They don't look like something you'd want to display on a fancy plate.
Yeah. So Brittany Stephanus over at businessinsider.com put the article together. There's a little video. Yeah, all right, I'll play it. That's what it looks like. They do not look friendly at all. Oh, weird.
Well, and they're not, right? They're venomous.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, their spines are, yeah. So now divers are spearing them all and finding ways to cook them. So there's a video that's 11 and a half minutes, actually almost 12 minutes long. I mean, they're pretty in the water, but oof.
Well, I like that they're being used as food. I think that's a good thing.
Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so they're not native to the Caribbean, of course, but it's because somebody said, oh, let's flush down the toilet. Like alligators. Oh, my gosh. They're everywhere now. Go and check out this video. You'll enjoy it. And if you don't like lionfish, then go down into the Caribbean and start eating.
Well, that's right. You can do your part by having some seafood.
Yep. You can say, I love lionfish so much, I will eat them. Get in my belly. The next article is over in the Mobile channel. The Space Force is about to play Space Wars in space orbit. It says Earth orbit, but I had to say space again. The U.S. Space Force is partnering with 2 companies to launch a demonstration mission on how the military branch would respond to an orbital adversary. Just watch Real Genius.
Oh, yes.
Because lasers are young. Oh, I've said too much. The article is over at gizmodo.com, and Passant Rabi is I think that's how they pronounce their name. I'm probably doing it in injustice, but Passant Rabi over at gizmodo.com put the article together. The deck statement says the military branch is testing its ability to respond to a threat by launching 2 spacecraft to chase after each other. The only problem I have with this is it's going to put debris in low Earth orbit. Why not just send a mission out to clean up low Earth orbit and show that you have the maneuverability and ability to remove a threat, right?
That would be good, because that would actually fix an existing problem.
Yeah, in the process of whatever it is you're doing, you'll be able to see that you have the ability to execute on your strategic objectives. Anyway, as part of the Victus Haze mission, the Space Force awarded a $32 million contract to Rocket Lab, and another, when I see that, I always think of Rocket Jump, which is a YouTube studio. And another $30 million to True Anomaly to exercise a realistic threat response scenario in an on-orbit space domain awareness. I love that. That'll definitely get you your grant.
Sounds like a TV show.
Yep. So once in orbit, the Space Force will use the 2 spacecraft to run through scenarios that could be perceived as threatening in space, whether that be a satellite aiming to destroy a U.S. spacecraft or spying on a U.S. military satellite in an attempt to gather intel. Quote, "We recognize the significant opportunity to leverage the commercial space industry's innovations to counter China as America's pacing threat." Colonel Brian McLean. That is just the perfect name for McLean. Hold on a second.
Where is that from, the show?
Not from Space Force, but McLean is from I just forgot.
From Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah. So, but I don't think his name was Brian. I can't remember. Something McLean. Anyway, gung ho. That's just the way I see the name McLean now. So, Space System Command's Program Executive Officer for Space Domain Awareness and Combat Power said in a statement, "Dear God, that is just a hell of a title to live up to. Victus Haze will demonstrate under operationally realistic conditions our ability to respond to irresponsible behavior in orbit." Irresponsible.
Well, that would be those, like the space junk not being in their proper parking spaces or things like that. I think that fits.
Or deorbiting a 2-ton battery pack that lands in somebody's house.
That's right.
Yeah, go Florida. Now I know why all the insurance companies were bowing out. It's because space debris is starting to land in people's houses.
They must have known that was going to be a problem.
Yep, they know a lot. Well, I mean, because the insurance companies are hooked into the healthcare system, which is hooked into the, I don't know. It's just...
Well, with all those mergers and acquisitions. I mean,
greed inception. Let's keep going. Last article, folks. Race through today's articles. This last article is over in the Continuity Report, and we're ending the show with kind of a good news, bad news. Very sad, actually. Star Trek Strange New Worlds Season 4 has been ordered, so that will continue, but Lower Decks is ending with Season 5, which is a real pisser, because I really like Lower Decks. It's one of the few, like, adult-branded content that I like, right? I'm not really into most cartoon shows. Bob's Burgers, for a while, commanded my attention, but I wandered away from it. But Lower Decks was an absolute blast. Ahead of the third installment premiere in 2025, Paramount Star Trek Strange New Worlds has officially received an early Season 4 renewal. This announcement comes after the sci-fi adventure spin-off had wrapped its 10-episode second season run last August. And so they say Strange New World stars Anson Mount, Rebecca Romaine, Ethan Peck, Jess Bush, Christina Chong, oh my goodness, everybody. They name everybody. Anyway, it is based on the years Captain Christopher Pike manned the helm of the USS Enterprise. See, we know what ends up happening to Pike. So I don't know how far Strange New Worlds is going to end up going.
That's true. And we don't have any good time frame, do we? I mean, we know what's expected, but
yeah, I think
we know when.
If you go looking for when Pike's accident happens, or I should say incident happens, it might have a star date for that episode. And so you'll know as we approach that star date, because they might in each episode relay some star date to give a context to where and when that event took place. An event took place during that episode, whatever it might be. So we may actually be told slowly that we're moving towards that canon Pike incident. So they talk about Strange New World Season 4 being ordered, even though Season 3 hasn't been released. And they close with, and they are Maggie Delapaz over at comingsoon.net. And then they end with Star Trek Lower Decks prepares for final season. In addition to CBS Studios has also confirmed that its hit animated comedy Star Trek Lower Decks will be ending its run after the upcoming 5th season, which is currently still in production. It's scheduled to premiere sometime this fall on Paramount Plus. And they basically just talk about what it is. They say Lower Decks and Strange New Worlds are integral to the Star Trek franchise, expanding the boundaries of the universe and exploring new and exciting worlds. And Lower Decks is canon along with Strange New Worlds. So apparently that's parallel, because there was a crossover where Lower Decks ended up in Strange New Worlds.
Well, I forgot about the crossover. I wonder if they were doing that in anticipation of... I mean, Strange New Worlds already had a good following, I think, and not surprisingly. Yeah, this is really mixed news.
Yep. So it says we're extraordinarily proud of both series as they honor the legacy of what Gene Roddenberry created almost 60 years ago. So we're grateful to work with Secret Hideout, Alex Kurtzman, Mike McMahon, Akiva Goldsman, Henry Alonso Myers, and the cast, crews, and artists who craft these important and entertaining stories for fans around the world. So that's it, folks. Dun dun dun. Whoa, this show went by fast. I did not soapbox at all.
Yeah, you were in a rush.
But I'm not. So we have like 12 minutes that we can just hang out and chat with viewers. Just kidding. We're going to get out of here so you can go and enjoy your Friday. Thanks for coming and hanging out and chat and going over to YouTube and watching the video over there, liking there, subscribing there, downloading the podcast, leave a 5-star review. Be sure to like and leave a comment over on YouTube. That is really the only way that we're going to get discovered over there. Along with here on Twitch. Really appreciate it. Be sure to come back 8 p.m. Monday through Friday for the 1-hour show. We may expound on it at a later date. I'm actually working out 2 more shows that might get announced, not this weekend, but next weekend. I've got some major mayoral duties to take care of before I can dedicate more time. But anyway, thanks for coming. I'm Mayor Watt, and up there is the sentient AI from the future. Actually, not just up there, all around me.
All around.
All up
Good
in
night,
there.
ohmTown citizens. Be sure to come back tomorrow at about 5 p.m. Eastern. We have 4 shows lined up for you.
Woo woo. See you then. Bye bye.